Wayne State College, and he's Division II All-American there, graduating in 4 years. I guess he's got a course or two left, and then he'll graduate right away. He did not redshirt. I guess without further ado, Mr. Brad Otis will.
Well, I want to thank everyone. Thank Coach Wojciech, because I know him. He's principal now. This is pretty new for me. Hopefully I'll have a long time doing it, but I just wanted to say a couple things, really how I got here, what I did after I was here, and just touch on. Approximately 4 years ago, I was sitting where you are now, Ward's Banquet in 1990 at 89, but I received a couple of awards. I can't remember what they are now, but I thought that was a pretty high moment in my life. That year, I ended up getting a scholarship to Wayne State. Ended up making the starting squad my first year. It's really, I thought, then again, it was a high point in my life. Didn't think it was going to get much better. As years grew on, things changed for me a lot. When I graduated here, I was just a tall kid. I weighed probably 220 pounds. Nothing out of the ordinary. But through I think what a lot of hard work and just the people, the coaches and all that up there, gone through a program that is, I'm now about 275, 6'5". I done a lot just to work on myself to get me where I am. But there was a little story on how I got to Bergan. That was that he pointed on a little bit that. And when I was a freshman in high school, my parents, they got in a pretty good car accident, including my mom, my dad, and my little brother. Through that, they were all hospitalized, and I ended up having to move in with my older brother down in Arkansas. That was just one of the schools. Earlier than that, I'd probably been to about 4 other ones just because we moved around a lot. And then after about a year and a half down there, my Aunt Lois, she took me in. Made her one of her own, you could say. Took a guardianship over me, and she brought me here after, I guess it was the spring of '87. Started track a couple days after I'd gotten here. They took me in. I was really surprised on how soon everyone accepted me, being a new student person. And that worked out great. Next year, I started playing football. I think they started me out at tight end and the outside linebacker on the right side. My junior, also wrestling and track that year too. Didn't do quite as well in wrestling as I wanted to, but it had been 2.5 years since I had wrestled. I ended up making it to state, but when we got to the medal round, then that's where I was out. Track, I think that year I made 5th place at state. Then again, I hadn't had track for the last couple of years. Then my senior year, I got a little bit bigger, a little more experience, and I ended up making all-state. My junior year, I didn't even make all-conference in football, just because I don't know if it's because I was new, and then again, I wasn't. In my point of view, I wasn't exactly the ideal football player even yet. My senior year, I ended up making all-state in football. Got 2nd in state wrestling, and 2nd shot put at state track, and ended up making the Fremont Tribune Athlete of the Year. It's been pretty much a high ever since my senior year. It's had a lot of good luck. I call it luck because usually a lot of things go both ways, and for me, a lot of things have really gone good. I can't complain about that. After my time's done here at Bergan, I was accepted to the Shrine Bowl. We I think the score was 19-16. We had won that one. That was pretty big. Another guy I graduated with was Zach Wieger. This guy I pretty much hung out with when I was here. He played in it too, and probably be seeing a lot of him too. But since I've been at Wayne, I'm a graphic design major. I do have an internship plus another 5 or 6 credits. I plan on going back next spring and finishing it up. They've been almost just as good as they were here for me. They took me in pretty quick. I had the same coach of my first 3 years there, the D-line coach, Scott Freer. He ended up playing, was the head coach and playing semi-pro ball over in Finland. They won supposedly their Super Bowl compared to ours, their Super Bowl over there. And things turned out real good for him. And some of the things I've done at Wayne is I was a 3-time All-Nebraska, 2-time preseason All-American, and the 1990 All-American defensive end. After my time at Wayne, I went to 2 bowl games. I went to the Blue-Gray. It was on Christmas Day. A lot of you might have seen it. Then another one was the Senior Bowl. I was a replacement for Brian Young, played for Notre Dame. His parents had gotten in a car accident the night before, or on a Thursday, and they called me up that day, and I flew out there the day before the game, so I didn't have any time to prepare. They just kind of told me what the defense they were going to run, and so I just jumped in and played. So I wasn't as happy with that game, my performance, just because I didn't really know how people around me played and that, but it was fun. I got a lot of exposure that way. About this time, I had right before the All-Star Bowl games, I had to get an agent. I ended up choosing one out of Phoenix, Arizona, and he's probably a big part in how I got so much publicity, if you want to say, reputation, and pretty much the main reason how I got drafted so high. He saw the potential I did have, much like Wayne saw my potential, and just utilized that and got the word around on me. It really helped having someone, there to help, because a lot of times you can't do it by yourself. I had a lot of people looking at me then. It was just day after day I'd have people coming in, workouts, and the actual line coaches themselves from the professional teams. That was just, I didn't have no trouble with that. It was just like little workouts. And I ended up going to the Indianapolis Combine Camp. That's the top, I think it's 190 athletes in the nation. They have come in. I saw pretty much everyone that was in the draft. Probably the first time that I'd actually watched the draft this year. I've done it in the past, but then you don't really know them. This is the first year actually. I knew probably the first 100 or so people that actually went. It felt a little different. Probably the biggest part about the draft was, I actually just wanted to see myself if I did, when I got drafted. I just wanted to see it on TV. Well, actually, about 2 minutes before it happened, I got a phone call. And I'm in the other room, and then everyone starts yelling in the other room. And then it went up on the TV there, so I never did actually get to see that part. But I was hoping someone recorded it, so I'd like to see it. But it does take a lot of work. I'm sure everyone that's here, is athletic. They know, they know it takes a lot. Some of the things that I've had to do is, right now I'm in what I'm calling a resting stage. I'm taking this week off, planning on getting back into it next week. I have to report June 1st for the next mini camp. That'll probably last about 3 weeks. Then I'm coming back, and July 2nd, plan on getting married. This is my fiancée, Michelle Burrish. And there's just going to be a lot of things happening to me in the near future. Once again, I mean, it's just, I feel lucky. Everything's gone right for me. And it doesn't really matter where you're at. I felt that early, I thought it might have been a benefit for me to go to like a Nebraska or something. I think you'd get more, publicity or whatever. But it really is. I mean, if you're happy with where you're at, and it doesn't matter if you're at a smaller school. I mean, if you're good enough to be somewhere, or if they want you bad enough, I mean, they'll come and find you. And it's just if you work hard enough. And in my case, I think what happened is if you work hard enough, and you get what you're due to.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't go on any further about when you were coming here, because he had that all planned to tell you that. I tell you what, Brad, I got something, well, I'm going to wait for that, I guess. We've got to go on for this. I want you said you could stay. We'll go ahead and make you wait. Okay, you just wonder what that is. Let's start out with our awards program. Number one on our list, we're going to get them up here once, and then they'll do the sports that they coach all at the same time. Coach Watkavich, if he'd come up, he's going to present awards for cross country and girls basketball, and I'm sure he'll get all of his assistants and associates and everything else up here.
Mr. Peace would come up. He's actually the head coach, and he just lets me accept the title and do the work. That's the other part. All the cross-country people would come forward, boys and girls. In your program, it's already marked the letter piece. We're not going to read all that off. We had 9 different people run cross-country for us. It's really challenging sport. We're still out running now, so now. I want to be sure I start out thanking the parents for their support. A lot of these are new people that hadn't run cross-country before, so for the parents it was a new activity too. And we thought we learned together and we gained a lot of experience with different things that we had to go through. I want to thank all the people that helped at the invitation. I was going to list all the names, but I knew I'd miss somebody, so I just want to thank all those people that did that. Ms. Thompson did a whole lot of typing and everything else. This group, and there's some others that are listed on the program that aren't here, basically overall through the season improved on the average about 2-3 minutes over their time from what they started out at the beginning of the season. The boys went a little bit over 3 miles, and the girls went about 2.5 miles. So for a lot of people, you wouldn't even drive that far, much less run. So we think that's a pretty great deal. It's a real hard-working group of people. And we didn't win a whole lot of awards and medals and trophies and everything. But the improvement I thought that they showed throughout the year and the hard work, and you guys really go out and do a lot of different things. We go to a lot of different locations to put in the miles. And I just think they should be, really, the reward more comes from inside themselves. Because a lot of times people don't read much about cross country. Some of the highlights are some of the things that we did accomplish. Jennifer Brody was second on the all-time cross country point list after just 2 years of cross country. Craig Brooks is 9th on the career point list for the girls. Jennifer was a state qualifier this year, which is our first one in 4 years. Paul Macklin, that's standing there next to Mr. Fieser, is our first academic all-state in cross country. And I don't know if that's so that we haven't had really great athletic or academic kids in cross country. We just haven't offered that opportunity to us before, so we're really proud of that too. Overall, we did a lot of different things. Again, we went out in a lot of different meets, and like I said, the kids just improved as they went along, which is what we're always hoping for. Some of the things Brad touched on, you get better as you go, and that's what we're hoping for from them. And a lot of times, the development comes later on. Maybe it isn't your freshman or your sophomore year, which is where a lot of these people are. So we're hoping for some good things next year too. Okay? And Ms. Fieser has letter certificates. And I have most valuable runner. For the girls, it's Jennifer Grody, and for the boys, it's Paul Macklin. If the girls' basketball people would come forward, please. Corey and Michelle. Again, in the program, you have all the people listed at the letter and all the different participants, and it's a really large group, so we won't read that to you. I want to thank junior high coaches first. Mary Ganuzzi is here. She would stand. Please, she was in charge of the junior high along with Chris Moore and Chris Pieper and Danielle Schmitz, and those are all people at Midland, and they have got semester exams, and they're very dedicated student athletes, so that's where they are tonight, studying for tests and things. Student managers, I'm not sure if they're here. We had some 7th grade girls just really do, I thought, a fantastic job. Allison Henry and Lisa Lutz, and Summer Cluck and Jamie Steer, and I don't know if they're here. But we really appreciate all the work that they did. Our staff people, if they would step forward so you can really see. Sue Bittner and Michelle Meister and Corey Miller, who all played basketball for us a number of years, and just invaluable as far as keeping stats, because I'm really into that, and the kids really appreciate it. And we look at much more than just the points that are scored, and without those people taking care of that, we'd have no idea of what we really had accomplished. Mr. Shacklett is our athletic director, basically, and takes care of us and calls in our scores and does all kinds of great things and stays out really late with us. Mr. Jerome keeps book for us. We really appreciate that, so that we know it's always officially correct. Mr. Tharp, if you would stand, please. That's that really distinguished table in the corner there with all those famous people that you've read a lot about. Mr. Tharp, stand up, please. Come on, Johnny. Tharp always made sure we got where we were going, and he made sure that, like, if I made any mistakes, that he would point them out to me. So Ms. Feldhaus organizes for us a whole lot of different things. She would stand too. She is. And she took care. We do like. She's right here. We do a preseason meal, and she does a lot of that and gets that all set up for us. Ms. Coat, is she here? If she would stand too, please. She should come up with us. So I learned a lot of different things while she was here, and one of those a little bit was basketball too, so she was with us for quite a while, or at least for a little bit. Miss Jansen and Coach Moore did a wonderful job. Mrs. Thompson does all our typing and gets our program stuck together. Mr. Fieser, is he still here? Did he stay up in front with us? He did a lot of our mental preparation for us and put us to sleep at times. We really appreciate that. He meant to do that. That was on purpose. That's not a bad thing. That's what he was supposed to be doing. And he did a nice job. Ms. Meister, too, with all our type. Lori Thompson here. Lori Thompson was just fantastic as a really supportive person through the whole season, and I just want to make sure I mention her for a lot of different reasons. We have 8 lettered people marked on the program for you. Season record was 13-9, and the JVs were 6-8. Some highlights really quickly. We were champions at the David City Invitation, which we hadn't done in 6 years. C15 sub-district champions, we hadn't done that in 4 years. We beat David City High at David City High. At the time, they were rated number 5 in the state, so then we got to take their place, which was really fun. And we were there for a little bit in January. We opened the season with 2 one-point wins. That started the season against Wahoo Newman, who I believe we hadn't beaten for some years since we had been here, and Lincoln Christian that we had never beaten. And it was really important, I think, to start that way. And they were really key wins, and we had everybody, do some really neat things. So those things stand out for me. I hope for the seniors too. 6-9 losses that we had were rated teams. We beat 2 teams who went to state tournament, Wahoo Newman and David City High School. Individual awards, David City Holiday Tournament, Lisa and Kelly and Laura were first team all tournament. Centennial Conference all tournament was Kelly Braybeck. All conference, Laura and Kelly Braybeck. Honorable mention were Lisa and Lee. Fremont Tribune all area honorable mention, Lisa, Kelly Braybeck. Laura and Lee, honorable mention all state, Laura and Kelly Braybeck. We've done a lot of things, did really well. Academic all state, which we are really proud of, because these kids go and they play Tuesday and Thursday nights, and you probably read some of that the lady in Minden, I think, is doing some neat things about suing different people and trying to get the girls' games moved to weekends. So those two things, Sarah Schrader and Kathy Craig, and we've had like 2 or 3 almost every year, basketball and volleyball and things like that, which I think is, they're studying on the bus and they're doing homework, during games. Sometimes while they're sitting on the bench during games, we try to change that, but they're just really dedicated people. We have 2 players in the Swedish Basketball Classic, and that's on June 11th at 6 o'clock in Oakland, and that's Kelly Breivik and Laura Feldhaus, which I think is fantastic. Kelly Breivik set a single season record this year for free throw percentage, 77 of 92, which is about 84%. A lot of college people wish they could do that. Seniors, just tremendous senior leadership, and they're standing together because they do that. And they were really good, and they were very helpful to us, and they really took care of the younger kids and did a nice job, and that's Lisa and Kelly and Laura and Sarah, and I really appreciate that tremendously. Some player awards that the kids voted on, I listed 2 because I think they're really big, and that's most improved and best defensive player. And Kelly Miller received both of those, and I think when your teammates vote you things, I think it means a whole lot more. My last 3 people that I need to do. My 2 assistant coaches, Kim Moore and Michelle Jansen. Miss Jansen has decided that she's had enough of whatever. She did this for 3 years, which is really great. The very first year that she helped, I sent her and Coach Moore to the preseason banquet that they had at, I think, where was it? Someplace anyway, a restaurant someplace. And they were really excited to go, and I didn't want to go, so I thought, this will be good. That's why you have assistant coaches. So I sent them, and they stayed with it for 3 years. They kept coming back, which I thought was really great of them, and I appreciate it. Coach Moore's getting ready to go into student teaching next year, so she's not sure what she's going to do. And I also want to thank my wife. And she always tells me not to do this, and I don't want to get locked out of the house, but I know I can do this, because sorry if I do it tonight. And if I need a place to stay, I may check with some of you guys. All 3 of those people have been tremendously supportive to me this year, because there was some really difficult, we went through some really great times, went through some really difficult times. And I could never have made it without those 3 people, and I can't thank them in front of you enough. And you need to be aware of just how wonderful they've been, what a great job they've done, and how supportive they are to the kids. And they just have been, I don't know, like lifesavers for me. And I'll be lost without those 2 if I don't have both of them, and I'm afraid that may happen. And I'm hoping I don't lose the other one. It's like you have to gamble and you have to take chances with things like that at times. I just really appreciate it, and I can't thank them enough. And I talk, took them out, tried to talk them out, take them out to dinner, whatever. That's not going to cover it, so I've got to find something else. But just to know how wonderful they are, and they really take good care of your daughters. I have most valuable awards to give out, and that's Kelly Breivik and Laura Feldhaus.
Next up will be Coach Jim Savio with the Wrestling Awards.
Well, I don't know if I can talk as fast as Coach McCabbage. It was a good talk. I think I raised my blood pressure a little bit. So I'm going to go slow, and I'm new. So if I take a lot of time, it's because I'm new, and then next year maybe I won't. But here we go. I have 2 people, 2 assistant coaches. They split the time because of their jobs. I'd like them to come forward. John Pierce in his 3rd year here. There he is. You guys should do that, my guys. Coach Pierce was really good because it was a transition year. And even though I've coached wrestling before, he was good to go, how do we do this, how do we do that? I don't always like to follow tradition, so we broke some of those things, but he was very helpful. He had a tough schedule, but we got a couple tournaments, but that was good. Coach Mark Snow, they're both in Midland, and Mark played football at Tacoma Herman and also wrestled there, and he helped coach with Guy Mitty last year, and I guess you'd be foolish not to take that kind of help, so they've both been very helpful. We've renegotiated their contract. They're going to be around for a couple of years, and I greatly appreciate all the help that they've given me. We started the season with 16 wrestlers, and I think one of the goals we had was to finish the season because we quite frankly don't want anybody to quit. And they did that, and I'm sure it wasn't a lot of fun at times because it's a very difficult, grueling sport mentally and physically. It was important to fill all the weight classes. We filled 12 out of 13, so we had a lot of good chances going into tournaments. And we had some kids hop up weights, cut down weights, and so I'm very proud of them. At the beginning of the season, we had some goals, and they wanted to have a winning dual season. We ended up 5-3-1, and we got a wake-up call by East Butler, huh, guys? Remember that? Where's East Butler? And we're lucky together we're tied, so it doesn't necessarily mean bigger is better. Placing higher than last year at all tournaments, we accomplished that. They accomplished that. I didn't wrestle. They did. I keep saying we. Competed at districts. There were 14 teams in our district. The number 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10 team were there. And we came out of that 5th, finished ahead a couple state-rated teams and qualified 6th for state, which Coach Bocek, he's like an almanac. He was there, and somebody said, I think that's a new school record. He said, no, back in 19 whatever. So we tied that record, and it's good to have, now we don't have to look it all up. Overall, it was a very productive season. And I have some thank yous too, I guess. First of all, my wife's not here. She's home watching my 3 little kids. And yeah, I've been coaching for 14 years, and I'll tell you what, if you don't have a family in this business that can support you, well, then your profession isn't going to make it. And they're great people, and so if you see them, tell them I mentioned that. Maybe I won't get locked out of the house. I want to thank Mr. Fieser. I used to do this when I was at Pope John, didn't know what I was doing, this relaxation techniques and things, and you know, around district time there's a lot of pressure and stress on our kids, and he came in and worked with us, and I really think that had a lot to do with a lot of kids getting the districts are a part of it, because we beat some kids that we never beat before 2 or 3 weeks earlier, and he does, I don't know, Mr. Fieser just does a lot of things, so I'm sure he liked the pay that we gave him, which was nothing. But we do appreciate it a lot, Mr. Fieser. I'd like to thank the administration for their support throughout the season and the year. It's really great to have people that are behind all the programs and very supportive. And also the Booster Club for their support. It's great to be in a situation again where the Booster Club really goes out and does things for all activities. And, you know, and that's really neat. And I appreciate that. I know everybody else does. Okay, at this time I'd like to introduce the players that just come forward. They should be in order, guys, I hope. The criteria to earn a letter was 6 varsity team points. And so we have Jake Bogenreef, and we'll just get him up here one at a time. Jake's a senior, 20 wins, 3rd in districts. Beat some kids right at the end there from Weeping Water. Excellent senior leadership. The seniors really helped the transition along, too. Nick Cohn, sophomore, also 4th district state qualifier, 2-time qualifier now as a freshman and sophomore. Sean Craig is a senior. From last year's season, this year, 180-degree turnaround. He didn't like getting beat up in the wrestling room, but it paid off. He qualified for state and was 2nd in districts. Garrett Glass, sophomore. Garrett had 17 wins, 4th in district. Moved up 2 weight classes, which is a lot in districts. He beat the number 2 rated wrestler to open up the door to go to state. And so a lot of these guys will be back next year, so I guess the pressure's on us, coaches. Jared Glass, sophomore, 25 wins, 2nd in district, state qualifier, state-rated wrestler, and had bronchitis the weekend of state meet, which really hurt him because I really think Jared would have maybe got to that final round. Jennifer Grody, sophomore. Yes, it's the first girl I've coached in wrestling, and it went really good, I think. At least I didn't have any complaints. She worked hard. She came up to me one day in class, wanted to wrestle. I was like, yeah, right. You know, she came back again, and she had a share of bloody noses and things, and she just wanted to go out and stay in shape for track, and so that worked out pretty good. Robert Hill, freshman. Robert competed and improved considerably over the season. See, here he is. And I think as a result of paying his dues this year, it's going to help him down the road next year. I've seen improvement in track as a result of wrestling, and we'll see some in the fall too from him. Chris Hurt, resident psychologist. Chris thinks that he's not very big, he's not very strong, and every meet we have to go through this thing. He had 22 wins, he's 4th in district, state qualifier, this is the 2nd time now. He beat the number 3 rated wrestler in state in January, has great potential. He's also an honorable mention academic all-stater. I tutored him. Bob Koenig. It was getting kind of dead. I thought it was going to get. Bob Koenig, senior. Bob was 1 match away from state. Very good, excellent senior leadership. He set a fine example for the rest of the team, and I really appreciate his help too. I go to Bob and Mike and these guys and say, hey, what do you want to do? How do we do this? Eric Lozo, sophomore, extremely talented, great potential. Filled in when he had to when kids were sick and wrestled a pretty good season. Pat Speaker, where's my man Pat? There he is. He's a sophomore. He competed well considering he's got very severe asthma. He about lost him at the Valley Tournament, and please make sure he brings that inhaler with him the rest of the time. J.P. Vaughn, freshman, never wrestled before, beat the number 4 kid in conference. Had no idea what a district tournament was or anything like that. It was kind of fun because he's got a lot of natural ability. He's improved a lot, and I think that's going to carry over in his career. Mike Winnicky, a senior, misqualifying by 1 point. One of the toughest kids I've ever been around with the mental attitude. Left practice 11 pounds, and I hope there are no doctors in here, but 11 pounds over the night before our first duel, and I called him at 9 o'clock and said, Mike, just forget about it, it's not worth it. He said, Coach, I weigh 154 pounds. He wrestled 160. He went out, and he just ran around Memorial Stadium, I guess, until he couldn't go anymore, and then he went out and won the night before. That's not what we like to see in wrestling, but I guess if I was going to go to war, I'd take all you guys, but Winnicky, I'd let you maybe be the general. Terry Winnicky, sophomore, hardworking young man in a tough class. Him, Eric Lozo, and his brother go back and forth, and Terry filled in a lot, and you know, he's going to have a super season down the road. Pat Woods, he was a sophomore. He backed up Jake and Sean. Great work ethic, had a bad ankle injury about Christmas time, forced him out, and we're looking for some good things out of Pat down the road. Our MVP, and again, the students, athletes voted for this. And it's tough to pick an MVP in wrestling because it's a team sport, you know, and it's tough to figure out. But the kids came up with this, and the co-winners this year are 2 deserving young men, Chris Hurt and Jared Glass. So they should have. It's not very often that we get a chance to thank the parents, but I'd like the parents of the wrestlers to stand up, please.
Larson, not Larson.
Oh, God. Brian Larson. Well, I know, I forgot him again. There's a little story behind that. We hop in the van, the varsity van, and Sean Craig, he's in front. They're all asleep. I look over. There's Bull. How can you miss him? You know, him and I in the front seat. And is everybody there? Yeah. So we get down to the conference tournament, and we're in the coach's room having some donuts and fruit and enjoying life. And I think Nick Cohn came in and said, Coach, where's Brian Larson? Well, my mouth about dropped, you know, down to my feet. And then I blew it. You know, it's the only mistake I've made in my career. And I didn't do that on purpose, Brian. I just got to reading that. But Brian's a junior. He's a hard worker, and he moved up and down too, wrestling wherever we asked him to go. And you know, he's already preparing for next year because he wants to get strong. We got some new weight classes coming in, so that was purely an accident. I hope everybody believes that. Worked out. Okay, now the parents of the wrestlers, real quick, if they stand up, because you people, stand up, sir. I'd like to personally thank you on behalf of my staff for the countless hours of support and dedication to the program. You know, wrestling's a unique sport. We spend a lot of time together. Sometimes we get too cooped up. Things get going, but they're great people. Bottom line is they support our kids. They support our program, and it's really nice, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Coach Weevil, with volleyball awards, please.
I thought it wasn't right away. I thought it was a little later. So here I am scrambling for my notes. First of all, it's really nice to be back here at Bergan. It's been a long time since I've been back, and this first year has been really just a great year for me. I hope it's been for the girls too. I had 2 great assistants, and that's Mary Ganuzzi, my junior varsity assistant, and Kim Moore was my freshman, but we only had 2 freshmen out, so Kim kind of did all different things. And then we kind of brought some sophomores down all the time who were very unselfish and said, yeah, I'll play on the freshman team. And then we had a freshman team that could play. So that was fun. We ended up with a fairly good record with those sophomores coming down and playing freshmen. I think we were 10-3, right, Kim? And the JVs were 11-1, and the varsity was 13-9. So we had a very good year. And I have to follow two funny guys, and that's hard to do, so just bear with me. I'm not a funny girl, so. I'm also very nervous. Okay. I just want to say one thing to Gary and to Joe. We never talk about our AD or our superintendent, and this is not putting a plug in for myself, but I know through the years these guys have always backed their coaches. And Gary, when he called last summer, I was really worried about whether I could do this all over again. Really glad I made the decision to come back. I hope you guys are, I hope anyway. And I want to thank Gary for giving me that opportunity again. And also to Joe, who always, if I go in there and I say, Joe, I need some shirts, or I need some equipment or something, he's always there for me, you know, and I feel like I can trust him with whatever I need, and that's really neat. I just like to thank you guys for that. That's hard to find, administrators like that. Okay, let's go through a couple more things here. Mr. Tharp, thanks. He's my guy who always tells me, Joe already said this, but he's the one that always says, Sue, you didn't play very good. I go, I didn't play, they played. You know, or he's always giving me those little things, and he's always done it. Even 1975 through 80, he always did that for me. So thanks, John. And let's see. I also want to thank my family. They do so much for me, but they're not here. They're at softball. And my statisticians and my student managers, which are Sue Zwittner and Bobby Hill. And the junior high coaches, which were Jill Katzmeyer and Michelle Jansen. Michelle, you want to stand up? Everybody knows Michelle. Thanks, Michelle. And, okay, a couple accomplishments this year. And we'll have the girls come up real quick. I know you don't want to do this, but I do, so you just have to sit there and listen. Elisa Andrews, where are you, Elise? Come on up, all right? Elisa is one of my seniors, did a great job as a middle hitter, always had excellent dedication, and I think she's going on to Lipscomb, never heard that before, university, and she's going to play volleyball there, and I think run track, aren't you? Or do high jump? No? Just volleyball? Okay, just volleyball. And she was just she just always kept me going, really great kid. Nikki Austin, where's Nikki? Nikki is a sophomore. Nikki played on JVs, was one of those kids who, when these girls all came in, they had to learn a new defense, a new offense, they had to learn everything all over again, and they really rose to the occasion. Nikki did a great job playing for us on sophomore level and on the freshman, she helped with the freshmen too. Angela Bagley. Ange here? Angela's one of those girls that she played almost every position I think I could get her to, and she has, I think, grown another couple inches. We're looking for a lot of good things from Angela next year, especially in the middle hitter position. Did a good job for us on JVs and also helped a little bit with freshmen. Kristen Baum. Kristen, another sophomore. It was kind of ironic. We had two seniors, 8 seniors, 2 juniors, 8 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. Really weird grouping there. Kristen was one of our setters. I'm looking for a lot of good things to come from Kristen next year. She played also JVs and a little bit of help with the freshmen. Kelly Braybeck. Skelly, right? My little daughter calls Kelly Skelly. Also Kelly Muller, she calls Skelly too. But anyway, it's a long story you don't want to hear about. Kelly, really good to work with. Comes in the summer, says, what do I need to do? How can I help? Those type of things are things you love to see in an athlete. All the seniors did that. I can't just say that just for Kelly. Every one of the seniors just said, what can I do? And was instrumental. Broke 2 career records here. One was in total pass receptions, and one was in most ace tips in a season, which Kelly always did like those tips, didn't you, Kel? And okay, and let's see, Jess Brannon. Oh, I'm skipping anything. Jess is one of our sophomores. Jess is a setter, as you can tell. She's short, but we like her. And she's going to be a setter for us next year. I look for a lot of things from Jess and Kristen coming up. Kathy Craig. Okay. Kathy was our junior right side hitter. Did a great job in the front row. Didn't play back row for us. We're looking for her to go all the way around next year. She's a junior. Laura Feldhouse. Laura did a lot of great things during the season. Very inspirational player. Did a lot of things for my morale. I came in one day crying. They all gave me a hug and I was okay. So these guys always were there for you. Thea Herkenrath. Thea, one of those players that I didn't know exactly where to put Thea at the beginning of the season. Worked really hard. Played a lot of back row for us. Could hit a great line, but a little bit short on the front row. Did an excellent job, morale-wise and otherwise. Jenny Hertz. Jenny was a junior for us, played a middle hitter on JVs. Jenny went through some tough times, but hung in there. I was proud to see her come back and play for us, and we hope to use Jenny a lot next year. Lee Kimball. Lee was one of our right side hitters, front row. We didn't get to use her a lot in the back row because we had other players, but I look for a lot of playing time from Lee next year. And she has a great left-hand spike, and we're looking for a lot of right side hits out of her next year. Megan McGill, freshman, one of our two freshmen. Megan and Devin were totally overwhelmed with this new offense and defense when they came in. By the end of the season, I think we had you on principal service eve, didn't we? And they were doing a fine job at that position, looking for a lot from Megan next year. Michelle Meister. Michelle, one of my setters, did a great job in our 6-2. Michelle and Lori Thompson had to learn everything and be the quarterbacks of the team. They did just an outstanding job. Truly inspirational. Michelle came in with mono, fought her way back into a starting position, and worked really hard, and I appreciate that in an athlete. Corey Miller. Corey was one of our seniors. Didn't get to play front row a lot, played a lot of back row for us, was an excellent server, very unselfish individual. Things that make a great person. People who can sit the bench, come in and play well, have to go sit the bench and then come back in and play well. Those are really great athletes. Kelly Muller. Kelly is a sophomore for us. Kelly did see a little bit of playing time at the end of the season. Did let her because of that. She's going to be a really fine player on the front row, and she has good quickness in the back row, so we're looking for a lot of good things from Kel. She's my other Skelly on the group. Devin Nelson. Is Devin here? Devin is a freshman for us. Played back row and front row as a freshman. Julie Nelson. Julie is one of our other sophomores. She did a great job on JVs. We're looking for Julie to come along in the middle hitter, outside hitter position next year. Julie is a very unselfish individual, always was willing to do anything that I asked her. Kim Nielsen. Kim was another sophomore. Kim got to see a little bit of playing time, especially in the conference tournament, I think at districts. And so then she lettered if you play in conference or district game. Kim came along really well during the season. Was kind of a surprise for us. She does a nice hit and very quick, can pass the ball very well. Sarah Schrader. Sarah was an outside hitter and a back row person plus a principal serve receive person. Her and Kelly took about 80% of the serve receives during the season. You probably didn't even notice when you were watching us, but they had to take most of the serve receives that came in, and they did an excellent job on that. And Lori Thompson. Lori's sick. Lori was our other setter, and she's a senior. Student managers, Bobby Hill. Are you here, Bobby? And Suze Bittner. Suze and Bobby handle the statistics for me, and I can't thank them enough for all the work that they do with that. And they also taped the ball games for me, and it was great. A couple of accomplishments from the girls were we were runner-ups in the district tournament, first in the sub-district, third in the Beamer invite, first in the Wahoo invite, fourth at Ashland, and the varsity maintained a 13-9 record. Let's give you guys a hand. A couple more things, and I'll let you go. I know this is long. All conference honors, I think we have those, Coach, to Laura Feldhaus. Where's my note? Okay. All conference, Laura Feldhaus. All conference honorable mention, Lisa Andrews and Kelly Brayback. All state honorable mention, Laura Feldhaus. All area honorable mention, Laura Feldhaus and Lisa Andrews, Kelly Brayback. Most valuable player to Laura Feldhaus. All right. And most improved to Kathy Craig. And most spirit to Corey Miller and Thea Herkenrath. Varsity best server by percentage, Lori Thompson. Varsity best receiver by percentage, Kelly Brayback. Varsity best center by total number of sets, Michelle Meister. Varsity best blocker, Laura Feldhaus. Best attacker, Laura Feldhaus. Best defense, Kelly Brayback. Best offensive player, Laura Feldhaus. And best hustler, Kelly Brayback. Thank you, girls, and thank you for a great season.
Mrs. Gossett will come forward with the golf award, please.
We were supposed to be before Mrs. Leewell, but Brian Larson's on our team, so I thought maybe he forgot us too. But first up, I want to have Mrs. Muller come up. He said I could go ahead and say it. I want to thank the Booster Club for their support. Without the Booster Club, we probably wouldn't be here because we obviously don't bring any money at the gate. We don't have very many people that come out and watch us play. It's a little tough because you do have to stay 30 yards behind any of the players. We did have Mr. Myers come, which was really kind of fun to see a parent come and support us, and we welcome any of you at any time. We are not through with our season. We have districts tomorrow at Valley. It was moved back a week, so we have no letters to give, no award. We do have one award to give, but we will be playing tomorrow at Valley, and it will start at 8 o'clock. We'll leave here at 8 o'clock, start at 9:30, and it'll probably be 4:30, 5 o'clock before we ever get through. So we'll see what happens there. We have wrap up of the season. When you have golf, only 5 people go to invitationals. We have 14 people that are listed on the roster, and forgot one, Matt Yude, came out. He's our foreign exchange student from Switzerland. There were also some girls that came out and decided it was a little bit tougher than they thought. It took a lot of time, and so they didn't want to compete. They wanted to learn the game, which was great because it is something that they will do forever. The top 5 that we played with most of the time was Justin Berry. Justin, in fact, Paul the girl was going to come up, Ryan Rice, Jeff Carlson, Brian Larson, and Jason Johnson. Jim Myers and Jason Dreyer filled in a lot for us, I guess as did Chad Cluck and all the rest of them. When we'd go to meets with just a dual or a triangular, then all 10 players could go. So we rotated. We got every one of the 14 players did play at least in one meet. So the rest of you, if you're here, come up and at least be recognized. I'd like to say, they will get their awards Thursday night. We will have a fun night just special for the golfers, and they will get their awards then. So if parents are here wondering when they're going to get their letters or their certificates, it'll be Thursday night. As you can see, as a young team, we had one senior, and then Matt from Switzerland, which was a real challenge. He's never golfed before, and Matt liked, I don't think Matt will mind, but Matt liked to hit the ball and just run. He didn't care where anybody else was, he just hit the ball and ran. He thought it was great. And But he was fun. We really did appreciate him going out. I think he had a good time. We also have Jim Myers and Jason Dreyer. I think it's their first time that they had ever played. I know it was Jason Dreyer's first time. I think Jim had played with his father before. Jason came out the first time, and I don't think you'll mind this. He's probably going to get the most improved golfer because for 9 holes he had 112. And he came down to where he was in 6th or 7th place, shooting consistently in the low 60s. So he improved considerably, and we appreciate him. He was willing to fill in whenever someone couldn't, as was, like I said, Jim Myers. We have a lot of improvement. Our biggest goal was, let's just do the best we can, and if everybody improved their scores, that was great. We didn't score well ever as a team. We had some good scores individually. No one medaled at a meet, but we did drop some scores, and we improved every time we went out, so that was our main goal this year. Next year, we'll hope that some of these juniors will come back and play even better. The other thing that we have is a growing season, and I think we've got a lot of dedication this year, and a lot of these young men have said that they were willing to work on the off season, which of course is during the summer, and plan on golfing in the junior golf program at the golf club, which will be a financial burden to them, but it is something that in order for them to improve, they're going to need to do. So we hope that works out for us. And do you have anything else you would like to say?
You did a fine job.
I think that's it. Our most valuable player goes to Justin Berry.
Any basketball, boys basketball players just stay here. Coach Hookstein, if you come up with the boys basketball awards, please. And all the reserve and varsity basketball players, if you'd come up right away, please.
Okay, one of the hardest things always about the athletic banquet is trying to wrap 4.5 months up into about a couple minutes, so I'm sure you guys are all saying do it anyway, I know that. I just want to talk a little bit about the season. These young men put in such a tremendous amount of work. You hate to walk away without giving them the credit that they have coming to them. You know, we talk about hardworking individuals, and these young men that are stepping forward here are some very hardworking young men. Some of the accomplishments that they had this year, first of all, we finished 12-8 as a varsity basketball team. That's the 14th best record in the 54 years of Bergan basketball. We had 3 of our wins were over top 10 ranked Class B basketball teams, and out of our 8 losses, 7 of those came to teams with 12 wins, and 1 of them came to a team with 10 wins. So, you know, the fact that these boys spend a tremendous amount of time and preparing for the quality schedule and take pride in the schedule that they play, I think that shows up when you just look at things like that. The JVs had a 10-4 record. They're a very nice season. Coach Martin did a nice job, and Coach Menard did a very nice job with those young men. The freshmen, for a freshman group of athletes, they probably had as much court time as any team that we had this year. They played 7 overtimes. So when when they were walk off the game after 4 quarters, they felt like they got cheated a little bit when they weren't in an overtime game. So lots of positive things went on this year in terms of school records and so forth. We'll just go through and congratulate these young men on some of these that are some extremely good records. TJ Meisick was 8 out of 8 from the free throw line versus David City Aquinas this year. That ties a 15-year-old record by Bruce Meister. Craig Moore also was 8 out of 8 from the free throw line against Wisner Pilgrim. Once again tied that same record. Chris Paulson had 8 steals versus West Point. That's a 3-way tie now with the 3-year-old record with Steve Weisman, a 7-year-old record with Brian Rump. Chris Paulson also had 62 3-pointers this year. That's a phenomenal accomplishment, 40% from the 3-point line, and he breaks a 2-year-old total mark by Andy Follett. And next one is Ryan Rice. He shot 85% from the floor against Wisner Pilgrim. He was 11 out of 13. That's a 6-year-old record he broke from Zach Weird. A couple things that were also really close. Tim Houston was 3 made field goals away from the season field goal percentage. And Ryan Rice was 2 made field goals away from the season field goal percentage. And the last school record that we're going to announce is Team record against Logan View this year, we were 91.3% from the line. We were 21 out of 23, and that's also a school record. So a lot of nice things go on with these young men. Players and certificates here. Jill's here hurrying me along here, so I'll eliminate all the other stuff, I guess. First of all, freshmen, Brian Dean, Rusty Fleming, Jason Indra, Brian Cook, TJ LaRocca, Jim Myers, Nick Nelson, and Brandon Weitzel. Those are the freshman basketball players. JV basketball players, Jeff Keegan, Sean Veruza, Aaron Kenobi, Ryan Kummel, Jeremy Stodola, and Matt Yu. The other varsity players, non-Letterman varsity players, were Aaron Brown, Jeff Carlson, and Chance Hansen. Letterman, first of all, sophomore, we had one sophomore Letterman, and that's Adam Henderson. Another sophomore Letterman that we had this year, and what we refer to him as our most valuable person award, goes to Chad Cluck. He lettered for us as a student manager. Phenomenal young man, did everything we could possibly ask and made things very much easier for us. Juniors, Justin Berry was a letterman for us. Jason Dale lettered, Adam Denker lettered. TJ Mysick was a letterman, team captain in Nebraska Centennial Conference honorable mention tournament team. Craig Moore, a letterman, team captain, David City Holiday first team, all-conference honorable mention, Fremont all-area honorable mention. Chris Paulson, letterman, team captain, David City Holiday tournament second team, North Central Conference tournament first team all-conference, all-state honorable mention, and Fremont all-area second team. Ryan Rice, letterman, all-conference honorable mention, and Fremont all-area honorable mention. Scott Starman is a letterman. Tim Huseman, one of our two seniors this year, was a letterman for us also, and Johnny Thompson was a letterman and a team captain. One of the nicest awards that we probably give out this year is we vote on awards from the individual players, and they spent some time and some thought and put these in, and I think these are say a lot about them. The first one, though, I guess I forgot to say this one isn't voted on. Academic All-State people are TJ Mysick and Chris Paulson. If people unless you have played athletics and been a part of it, you realize have no concept of how much time and effort these young men put in. And to be academic all-state, which you have to have be in the top 10% of your class and have a 93 average or above. So it's a phenomenal accomplishment, and I want to congratulate those young men on that accomplishment. Okay, team awards that were voted on by the individual team members. First of all, most improved JV player. That was a tie between Justin Berry and Scott Starman. Chairman of the boards this year, that's our top rebounder, goes to Ryan Rice. Most improved varsity basketball player this year, and this is kind of a nice award to give out, and that goes to Tim Huseman. Tim spent a tremendous amount of time in the weight room. If you ever qualify somebody as a gym rat, I guess Tim would be the one. He's always in there, he's always playing around, always working hard, and it paid off, and Tim was able to do a lot of nice things for us this year. He'll be missed. Offensive Player of the Year this year was Chris Paulson. The Mr. Hustle Award is TJ Mysick. Mr. Defense is a tie between TJ Mysick and Craig Moore. Both those people put a tremendous amount of effort into the defense and the pride that they've taken, and that's nice to see those boys be rewarded. Attitude and Leadership Award goes to Craig Moore. And this year's 1993-94 Most Valuable Player Award goes to Chris Paulson. I'd like to congratulate him. A couple things. Once again, always got to get the thank yous in here. I want to thank Larry Martin and Ryan Milnard, my coaches. They're very good guys to be around. They make it a lot of fun. They put a tremendous amount of time in and help, and I want to thank them. My junior high coaches, Rick Cruz and Greg Brown, spent a lot of time with the young men at the junior high level, and that's very important. We've already talked about Chad Cluck. He phenomenal help for us, and TJ Rump. I don't know if TJ's around here. He did a lot of good things for us. He was our game manager, so. Statisticians were Susan Bittner, Alan Colling, and Sarah Schrader. All of those have a whole lot of time into school and so forth, so to take the time to volunteer to do those things for us, we appreciate that. The drill team and cheerleaders are always there doing things for us. The pep band, a lot of nice things happen there with the pep band, and it's always nice to have them at our home games. Johnny Tharp for about the fourth time, and I'd like to thank him. Bob Brown and Tom Eckley, who do our books and stats for us. Mr. Schmidt, I don't think he probably gets some of the thanks that he needs all the time. He's always there for crowd control and miscellaneous duties, so I'd like to thank him for being there all the time. And I'd like to thank the seniors, John and Tim, and wish those two young men good luck. I've enjoyed having the opportunity to work with both of those. I want to thank the parents for their overall support, the time, the willingness to help. The parents, you don't realize when you're supportive as you are how much more enjoyable and how much more fun it is to be a part of it and to work with the young men that you allow us to, and that makes it exciting. It's a very enjoyable season. I already look forward to next year, And last, I'd like to thank my wife, and she's very patient with the amount of time and stuff that we put in basketball. And this year, everybody talks about their biggest fan. I also want to thank probably the littlest fan we have at Bergan, and that's my son Ethan, for showing up at all the games. So once again, thank you.
Coach Shacklet, could you come up and do the both boys and girls track award?
All the tracks come up, girls and boys. The red nose, I didn't get home late last night from Bob or anything like that. Put the mic down. I printed big, but still got a cheat here. We'll have to squeeze everyone in here. A lot of people out. I'd like to start out by talking about the '94 season. It brought about a number of changes. First, we combined the programs, boys and girls, together under one roof, as it were. We had some staff changes. Coach Bergan left, and some other people left. Tim Kastmeyer left and went on to Norfolk Catholic, where he had his own team this year. And the last big change of the year, I guess, was the fact that we ran for the last practice on the old Memorial Stadium track, and it's finally getting that fixed. I can remember when my daughter was in 7th grade telling her, you know, by the time you graduate, we're going to have a new track. Well, she's got 2 more years at UNO, so hopefully they get it done. I'd like to thank the track staff and for all the help they gave me. Coaches Martin and Fox took care of our running events. Coaches Savio and Allen took care of the weight events. Coaches Andrew and Rump took care of our jumpers. I had pole vaulters, one event. I guess that's head coach's prerogative. And I'd also like to thank Coaches Weevil, Menard, Schmitz, Gilfrey, Kastmeyer, Carsoner, who all worked with our junior high program. They're the ones that build our future. And if I could have, also thanks to my wife for answering the phone, what time is the meet, when are they going to get home, things like that. If we could have everyone give those people a round of applause. Thank yous also go out to the parents for all the times they sat and froze at our track meets. It had to be one of the coldest years this year, but hey, we never got wet. We stayed dry all year. So, you know, that's an accomplishment. We did get cold, but we were dry at least. In addition, I'd like to thank the Booster Club and the administration for all their support. I guess, you know, they've heard it 5 times already, but you can't ever say it enough. Thank you. You know, you need something, you have it. We had some people this year, and we varied. We had probably the littlest high school student out. We had one of the biggest, and we got them fitted out. And I said, everybody's going to fit in the uniform. It works. Some season highlights. We started out our season at the Wayne meet. We set 3 meet records in the 800, the 16 to 3200 relays. We also had 3 school records. The boys indoor 1600 relay, which has been around for a long time, and the 4x1 lap relays, which is kind of a little longer than a 400 relay because it's 160 meters to the lap or something. And we did that for both the boys and girls. Other highlights, we went to UTAN. The girls were runner-up in their division. The boys and the 2 teams combined won the overall championship, which I always think is real important. You know, we can have 1 good team or 1, you know, and 1 bad one, but to have 2 good ones I think is important. Also at UTAN, Elisa Andrews set the high jump record first of 2 times. She did it again later at 5'2". Later on, our freshmen were runner-ups at David City meet. We only took 6 kids to that meet, and one of them only ran 1 event because he hurt his leg and had to sit out the rest of the day. And I got the first of my red noses there. At the inaugural Fremont Classic, Laura Feldhaus was the champion in the discus for us. At the conference meet, we finished 5th in all 3 divisions. TJ Mysek happened to be the only person who was a conference champ for us. He won that in the 1600 meter run. It was really a tough conference. You went down and you looked at that district that they ran in last week, and you see a lot of names that look just like what was at the conference meets, Scotus and Flanagan and Boys Town and all those. Wahoo Newman did very well. I think they won their division. So, we were in a tough conference. At our district meet, we qualified 3 girls. Elisa Andrews in the high jump. She set a new school record, broke the one she'd already set, 5 feet 3 inches. Tara Cody in the shot put, that's her second trip to state. She went as a sophomore last year. And Kathy Craig who qualified in both the 400 and 800 meters. The boys qualified 7 people. Kenny Wynn and Tim Usman in the 1600 relay. TJ Mysick in the 1600 meter run and also the 1600 relay and 3200 relay. Chris Paulson in the long jump. Adam Henderson in the 400, 800, 1600, and 3200 relays. He's our first 4-event qualifier, I think, since Scott Paling, and that goes back quite a ways. We also qualified Tony Ulick and Brandon Weitzel in our 3200 relay. If I could have all the state qualifiers just kind of step forward or whatever here so we can recognize you. Okay, continue. We said already, as I said, 4 school records. We also had 20 other performances that were in the all-time top 10s. In some of those events, it's getting pretty darn hard to get into. I'd like to congratulate the whole team. We had 16 girls, 1 letters, 26 boys. And although it's great to set records, records are only part of our program. The staff feels it's important that each of our athletes, your sons and daughters, become better athletes in May than they were when they showed up in March. We felt we accomplished this goal. Everyone here showed improvement in one way or another, and oftentimes it was in multiple events. Another goal we try and instill is a winner's attitude in all of our people. We feel we reached this goal as everyone competed to the best of their abilities. Lifting was an important part of our program this year. We were kind of stuck for track time, so we had to make up for it. We did it in the weight room. And it was important. It gave us strength. At the end of a race, we were able to fight off someone who tried to pass us. Many times we overtook people in the last 100 yards so we could move up. And at a couple meets, we ran tough into the wind. One day the wind was really strong, and it seemed like every race somebody would come to challenge us, and they would try and pass us into the wind, and we just looked around and kind of, right, you're going to pass us. And they didn't. The last part of a winning attitude is knowing that when you step onto the track or the runway or wherever it might be, that you know that if anyone out there in that field is capable of beating you that day, they're going to have to give the performance of their lives because we're definitely going to bring it. We know that. And that's the way we competed this year, and I was real proud of that. I'd like to thank the seniors and wish them all the best in the world and have them step forward. Elisa, Jake, Suze, Al, Sean, Laura, Tim, Sarah, and Ken. Step forward, and I'd like to give these people one last big thank you and a round of applause. And finally, our MVP awards. These are hard to choose this year. I really had a time, we discussed it. For the guys, we'll go guys first. For leadership in the weight room and on the track, and the fact that they qualified for state in 7 different events. Our co-MVPs this year, sophomore Adam Henderson, junior TJ Mysick. The choice for MVP of the girls was really difficult this year. We felt that many of our ladies deserved this honor, but you can't award everyone. We finally decided to limit it down and which girls our team could not have been with, any one of these 3 ladies we felt. And so we went with tri-MVPs, and they are Elisa Andrews, Sarah Schrader, and Kathy Craig. And we're done at a time that's faster than our state meet gold medal last year.
Coach Martin, if you come up this time. Before you get started, Coach, I got something Coach Mark and I want to give you. We had our athletic banquet a week earlier last year, and this didn't come, so I didn't get an opportunity to present it to you. But so I'll present both of them. We had the last 1992 and 93, the 7th rating in the state for the 92 football team, and the 9th rating, the final ratings in the state for this year's football team, and congratulations.
I promised Mr. Roan and Mrs. Muller that I wouldn't go too long, so hopefully it won't take me too long to get through all this. First of all, I continue to thank everybody, to reiterate a lot of the things that other people have already said tonight. First of all, the boys know how I am, and they know that I'm going to only go as far as they can take us. And, I know I'm hard on them sometimes, and sometimes the parents wonder why some of the things that I expect them to do, but in the long run, hopefully if we can continue to do some of the things that we feel that is important, then it pays off for us. So I want to thank the athletes and then also the parents. Not too often, I've only been here 2 years, and maybe that, or as far as the head coach, 2 years, and I haven't had too many difficulties as far as not having the parental support, and I think it's very important for the support of our, for the success of our program in order to get that. The paper, the stats, the radio, the chain gang, the clock, the guys that run the clock. My football coach from Chicago comes out and he tells me that how over and over how hard it is to find people that have done that. And I don't know if the radio people here or any of the paper people are here, or I know a couple of my chain gang guys are here that have been doing this for several years. The guys that do the clock, that I don't have to take care of that, and it's just one less thing that a young 26-year-old guy that has a tendency to get too hyped up for certain things on game day has to worry about. So any of my announcers or any of those, I'd like to thank you. If you please stand, I'd like everybody to please give them a round of applause. I don't throw my stat guys around. Also, we have Mike Good, the trainer that Dr. Ely provides for us, that comes out, and unfortunately over the last few years we've had we've kept them pretty busy. So hopefully here in the future we can cut that down a little bit, and hopefully if we're working hard like we should be, we shouldn't have to worry about that. Dr. Dreyer and Dr. McKnight, both of them come out to our football games, and they've always been there for me. That is another thing that is growing. I don't know how much literature you guys get the opportunity to read, but that's one area that from a head coaching standpoint, that they really they scare you about stuff like that, whether or not you should touch your kids when they're injured, and how to handle them and things like that. And to have those guys there, it just takes a big burden off my back. The drill team, the cheerleaders, I always write them a big thank you at the end of the year. They really know how much I appreciate all the hard work that they do for the boys. And even though sometimes I know that they probably really don't want to do it for them, but they still do. And I appreciate that for them. And I've been thanking them since I've been here for 4 years, and I'll continue to thank them. So they also, the parents do the pat on the backs, and that's really nice. They get the boys some pop and things like that, and they put things on their lockers, and it's just, it's really fun to watch everybody get involved. And I can't tell you over and over how important all those things are, because it really builds around the program. The kids, I don't know how much they're going to really appreciate it right now at this point if they see that sign on their locker. I do know that they know it if it's not on there. And the other thing is, in about 4 or 5 years from now, after they leave here, it's going to mean a lot to them. So I'd like to thank everybody for that. My filmers, whoever films, I know Coach started to do it a little bit at the end of the year, and that helps at the end of the games that we can have the opportunity to see a nice clear film and hopefully get some work done out of that. The secretaries, oh boy. I second period, I'll send something down there, and Sue's where she at, boy, I love her, and Sue's, can you run down and make me a couple copies of this, or Miss Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, she helps me out, and Mrs. Meister, and Mrs. Muller, and Mrs. Muller, and Mr. Jerome, they all help me out a lot, because I get too many things going on at one time, and I can't handle them all necessarily all the time, so they really help me out. The student body, boy, I tell you, I've been a few places, and we are very, very fortunate to have all the help that we get from our student body as far as they just totally support us. You know, I guess we played in that overtime game up in Hartington, and it was raining. And I mean, I didn't look during the game, but after, when I was watching it on the film, off to the side, you could see our drill team and our cheer, I mean, in the mud, and it's raining, and it's cold, and our fans, you know, Hartington, and I'm not taking any cheap shots at anybody from Hartington, because I don't want this to get back, because we're going to play them next year, but they're in the car. You know, and we're out here, you know, we just trying to get this game into overtime a little bit, trying to get out of our own end, and our fans are on the field, our cheerleaders are everybody. I mean, it was incredible, and then we stopped afterwards, and I'll talk about a little bit of that later, okay? The coaches' wives, at the end of the year, I mail them all something, because I'm sure there's times that they probably don't, you know, why does Larry expect you to do that? Why does he expect you to do this? And boy, my job, they make my job a heck of a lot easier to get the coaches here for me. And I know they take care of them, and I know some of them got families, and I don't know how many of you know, but I think, well, no, I know, but my wife's gonna have a baby in Thanksgiving, but hopefully all that'll be all right. Okay, moving along, my coaches. Coach Shacklett, he's been here for 19 years. He's my defensive coordinator. He does an excellent job. Coach Savio, last year we had 2 line coaches, and one of them was Coach Bergan. I know a lot of you are very familiar with him, but Coach Savio came over, and he works here. It makes it a lot easier for us, and it made the transition a lot easier for our kids, because we use a lot of the same terminology, and as opposed to me having to, and I'm not taking a shot at him to say he's not smart enough to learn it all, but it made it a heck of a lot easier for us to get it in, and so that made it a lot easier having that, because we do have some pretty intense line calls and things like that. Coach Hookstein, he helps out with our varsity, and I'd like him to come over here too. We got some things to pass on. I hope he can get up here, and maybe I can put him to work one more time before August gets here. And he does a heck of a job. And Coach Fox, he's our Midland student. He goes to Midland, and he really does a tremendous job. And it's kind of nice to have him around. We used him a lot when we got into playoffs to go get some films and things like that for us. Now, Coach Aruza, he's our head junior high coach, and he doesn't teach in the building, and he really feels very strong about our school and things like that, and he just really works hard for our program, and we really appreciate that. And his assistants were Greg Brown and John Johnson. My seniors, if they could please come forward, I'd appreciate that. And also at the same time, I'd like my 2 managers, George and Jim Myers, and I don't know if TJ Ruff is here. Is TJ here tonight? So I'd appreciate if they come forward. All right, real quick, to wrap this up, 4 years ago when I came here, these boys were freshmen. I was the JV football coach, and I remember walking across the stage, and I may have told you this story before in the huddles after the football game or something like this, and all of these boys were sitting up there on the stage with their heads down. They just lost a hard-fought football game, and I can't even remember which one it was, and I told myself that, you know, these boys care, and I knew if they gave me the opportunity to try to tell them the things that I felt that was important to be successful, that if they listened to me and did them, we would be. And 4 years ago, when they were freshmen, if somebody would have told me that they were going to be 9th rated in the state and qualify for the playoffs, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't have believed them, but it's only the true fact that to challenge every athlete that's in this room tonight to the fact that yes, you can get better if you put the hard work and encouragement to one another throughout the program. It can happen. And so don't be discouraged. You know, these guys I knew it when we were standing on the stage there, and they were mad, and they can remember it, and I was mad because we just lost the game, but they knew that what they were doing, it wasn't going to win them very many football games. And they knew that they had to change the things that they were doing, and for that I'm very proud of them, and I've told them that over and over and over. Now I only hope that the boys that are going to be coming up here in a second continue to do those things, because if they don't, all the work that these guys did for these last 3 years is going down the drain. And if they have to sit out in the stands, which they come back, they're going to be very frustrated and very, I don't want to necessarily say embarrassed, but they're going to be very disappointed that you guys don't do that. And that I think holds true from a lot of alumni that are probably sitting out there too, because after we got beat in the playoff game against Newman, I had a couple of the alumni in the past come up to me and simply tell me, Coach, don't be discouraged. And I really wasn't, only for the fact that we did some things that I felt that we shouldn't have been doing at that point in time of the year. But on the flip side of it is, we've had to be very happy with how we got there. And so hopefully, it's going to keep rolling. Like I told you before, it's only going to go as far as they're willing to take it. And the seniors, these guys were 8th graders when I got here. And we're talking, well, I knew when I came back from Easter we had 4 months. So we got some work to do. And so hopefully, I told these boys over and over, if they pull out the first article from their senior year football, it's going to be right in there. We're only going to be as far as what our seniors take us. And they can be very proud of the fact that they did that. If I could have the rest of the team come forward, please. I'm going to kind of go through some of these awards real quick that the team votes on and some of the accomplishments that they have. Our captains this year were John Thompson and Sean Craig and Jake Bogenreef. I mentioned before that my managers, and we can't go anywhere without them, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere without either one of them, and that's Jim Myers and George Petrowski. Honorable mention All-State, first team, Jake Bogenreef from the Lincoln Journal-Star. And Jake also was honorable mention in the Omaha World Herald, and Adam Henderson was honorable mention in both of them. Our all-conference, who did I say? Oh, Adam Danker, I'm sorry, Dank. All right, I'm getting fired up already. I can't even realize what I'm saying here. All right, all-conference. Because what these boys did was incredible. We're the smallest school. I don't know how many of you know our enrollment and things like that, but next year we're going to be C2. We're going to finally, when we get in, we're going to finally play against some schools that are our own size, and that's going to be fun. And as opposed to being the small little one, showing those bigger ones how to get after it. So Sean Craig, Adam Danker, Chris Hurt, Kevin Navratil, Craig Moore, TJ Meisink, and Jake Bogenreef were all first team all-conference. Honorable mention all-conference was Al Collin, Adam Henderson, Tim Huseman, and John Thompson. All-area first team was Jake Bogenreef and Sean Craig. All-area second team was Kevin Navratil and Chris Hurt. All-area honorable mention was Craig Moore and Adam Danker. And academic all-state, and I'm sure you'll see the ribbons around their neck, is Chris Hurt, Chris Paulson, and TJ Meisink. We voted on these awards at the beginning of the year. It seems like a long time ago since we did these, but we kind of go through some of our positions and try to group them into offensive MVP, and then we also go into our most improved one. And this year at the receiver position, our MVP there was Adam Danker, and our most improved was Adam Henderson. At the back position, which includes the quarterbacks, our MVP was Craig Moore, and our most improved was TJ Meisink. Our lineman MVP was Chris Hurt, and our most improved, this is offensive lineman, and our most improved was Sean Craig. Our D lineman, most valuable, was Jake Bogenreef. Most improved was Tim Huseman. Our end position was Chris Hurt, and most improved was Mike Winneke. And our most valuable linebacker was Kevin Navratil. Most improved, John Thompson. And I know I'm getting on a roll here, but hang with me. Chris Paulson was our most valuable defensive back, and our most improved was TJ Meisink. Our special teams kicker was Craig Moore, punter Craig Moore. Return man was Chris Paulson. Kickoff tackler was Mike Winneke. Okay, our most valuable offensive player was Craig Moore. Our most valuable defensive player was Jake Bogenreef. I think I'm right before I mention the MVP of this season, I just want to tell you one last thing, and I know that my time is up, but the first thing is Mr. Fieser. I heard it was only fitting, I guess, for Coach Savio to thank you for the mental relaxation things that you do. And so next year, before the football games, Mr. Fieser, as opposed to doing it to our team, I want you to take Coach Savio up in the wrestling room and get him to relax a little bit before the games, okay? So I think the boys will be all right, but if you can get him relaxed, we'll be all right. A little bit, real quick, to wrap this up before I give out our MVP. Our conference this year, 14 conference. All right, so it doesn't take a mathematician to figure that out. That you only got 3 games in your conference, and if you play a 9-game schedule, you got 6 outside your conference. Our conference this year was 33-1 outside the conference. 33-1. So when you heard me go through the all conference and honorable mention all conference, that isn't a fluke. I mean, that is making it in one of the toughest conferences in our class make an all-conference. And and that just doesn't happen from going out there in August and strapping a helmet on. We do a lot of that in the spring and also in the summer. Also in our conference, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this either, we had 2 state champions. The Class B state champion was Columbus SCOTUS, and we were ahead of them 7-0, and the Class C1 champion was David City Aquinas, and we were going in the fourth quarter, it was 14-7. So, and we replaced a heck of a lot more guys on our team from this year to last year than what they did on their team. And on our schedule, we had 4 playoff teams, 2 that stick out. Here they are, you know, some stick out more than others, but the Takema game when we went up there and you know, got them in overtime. I'll never forget that one because there was a little bit of a burden on my back there the first year when I kind of felt my youth and my inexperience as a coach might have cost us that football game because we could have won that football game, and that was one over the 2 years. And if it's only one that I felt like I gave away, then you know, the boys are doing something good. So, and then the other one was the old tradition one, as Coach Bocek called it. Coach Fox told me when he came home from Hartington, he could have wrote the Bergan tradition on Bergan football because he wrote up and back with Coach Bocek in the band. So he was pretty happy. So anything else? I think I've named off everything except for our MVP. Our MVP this year goes to a young man who has worked extremely hard. You know, he does a lot for us. You know, you gotta when you vote on an MVP, you just to me, bottom line is if we're going to go out there with 11 guys on each side of the ball, and I do not want to be without one kid. Who's it going to be? And this year it's Craig Moore, and Craig Moore is our MVP. Now that doesn't mean I want to go out there with 1 versus 11, but the other 10 are just as much important. But Craig Moore is going to be our MVP this year. Thank you, and I think I got to do the Power Club Awards now. So, did I forget anything? Good thing I cut it short this year.
Yeah, the seniors, we after the SCOTUS game, we took a picture with Coach Martin. We like said that to him right now.
Thank you. Well, there's only one good-looking guy on there. Bull, it isn't you. This one had her head shaved too. Do I do the? Craig, here you go. The strength trainer awards now. They even autographed it. Hey, you guys write better than what you did at prom. I can actually pronounce some of these things. I better be careful there. It's probably my fault. It's probably the first and last time I'll be asked to do that. All right, our Power Club, we vote on this at the end of the year, and the kids, this is totally voted upon by the kids. And we give out one for the 9th grade, the 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and then we give out a strength trainer of the year. And this year, our 9th grader is Scott McWhirter. Scott McWhirter got the Power Club award. Our 10th grade award goes to Adam Henderson. Our 11th grade award goes to Chris Hurt. And 12th grade award goes to Sean Craig. And then lastly, the strength trainer of the year is a young man who has worked extremely hard in the weight room. And you know, it's always hard to say who works harder than who because they all work hard. You know, son of a gun. You know, I wish I could give them all out to everybody. You know, just like the football MVP. I may have made a mistake there saying that if there's one I don't want to have, you know, I want them all. So hopefully everybody understands that. The strength trainer of the year, Chris Hurt.
Our cooperative athletes this year, as you notice in the program, The fall participants, the Fremont High sent over the participation and letter certificates to them, but we have some that are participating in the spring sports also. Carrie Brooks, if she would stand, please. Is Carrie Brooks here? She's at a rescheduled meet. That's where she's at. Well, anyway, she lettered in tennis and soccer. If Troy Brown is here, would he stand, please? Troy Brown is also a letterman in boys soccer at Fremont High Forks. And boys tennis, we have Jason Indra. I know he's here. If he'd come forward, please. I have a certificate for him. Chad Engler and Chance Hansen. Must be off to Hawaii again. If Miss Jerome would come forward now, please, with the cheerleader and drill team.
I'm going to start off with the cheerleaders this year. First of all, I'd like to thank the parents. Many times people don't realize that more goes into cheerleading than having really nice hair and slim legs and wearing that short skirt and stuff. They put a lot of time and money into it. The average cheerleading uniform costs $410. And so they put a lot of time. The girls practiced this summer twice a week from the time school got out until we went to camp and started football season in August. And the parents getting them to practices and getting them to the camp and financially supporting them the way they do, we wouldn't be able to have the squads that we do without the parents. Secondly, the squad tried something different last year. The girls kind of didn't like me when I mentioned it to them, but we started a weight program. And it was because the girls wanted to do more stunts. And I told them if I was going to approach the school board and try to get a policy changed, that they had to prove to me that they were fit enough to do these stunts. And the big trend in the nation is to make cheerleaders seem more like athletes rather than just little primpy girls out there with their lipstick and trying to look pretty. And I think we've done that at Bergan, like Mr. Martin said. I don't know how many cheerleading squads across the state would have stood out in the rain for 4 quarters in an overtime like our girls did. I think that was the proudest moment I've ever had of those girls. And so they did do that, and all that hard work paid off because at camp they received numerous first place ribbons, superior ribbons, second place ribbons, and so on and so forth. And they also were awarded a trip to go to the Hollywood Christmas parade in Los Angeles. We were unable to make that because of financial reasons, of course. And I would also like to thank the fans. You guys are just great, all right? You're cheering with us, screaming and hollering. There are a few that stick out, but hey, that's great. We need to get everybody else going. And if 1 or 2 parents are going to do that, that's great because it's good to see everybody getting along. I'd like to see the students participate a little bit more. It's kind of scary when your parents have more spirit. The students have a lot of spirit, but I tell you, those parents, they've got it all. And the kids wouldn't be there without them. Our 1993-94 cheerleaders were, for JV, Elizabeth Peters, Cheryl Johnson, and Katie Henry. If you girls would come forward, I have certificates for you if you're here. Okay, with the varsity squad, please come forward. These girls were all new. We had 3 girls that were returning to the varsity squad out of the 9, and the other 6 were new to the varsity squad. 3 of them were from the JV squad the previous year, but they did a good job, a really good job. They're small. Next year we're going to be much larger for you. Starting off, we have Christina Fincham. She's a sophomore for us. We have no no seniors too, by the way. So this was kind of an odd year for cheerleading. We had absolutely no seniors on this squad. We have Monica All, who is a junior and also captain of the volleyball squad. There's Angela Bagley. She was a sophomore, is a sophomore for us. She will be on the squad next year. Kristen Baum is a sophomore, returning from JV squad. Mandy Mackey is a sophomore and also returning from the JV squad. Leslie Pounder is a first-year junior for us. And Karen Yossi is a junior for us, and she was the overall captain. There was also Mary Pierce. I think that's it. Yeah, and Mary Pierce. So these are your varsity girls out there in the mud and the rain and everything else for you. At this time, I'd like to announce the 1994-95 cheerleaders. We had a bit of a trial with the tryouts this year, but we got through it, and we have a good squad. They're all going to be on the squad next year. We also have new ones. We have Karen Yossi, who once again will represent us as overall captain. Monica All will be captain of boys basketball. Leslie Pounder and Kristen Baum will co-captain wrestling for us. Christina Fincham, Mandy Mackey, Angela Bagley will be secretary for us again. She did a good job, keeps control of all the tardies, etc. Cheryl Johnson, Jill Jaros will be a sophomore for us next year. Tasha Raby is a transfer student from Fremont Junior High who will be a sophomore for us. Becky Cerny and Rachel Turner. We decided to go this year with a 12-person varsity squad instead of an 8 or a 10-person varsity squad and a 3 or a 4-person junior varsity squad. We know the junior varsity is very important, but we also know the varsity is important, and the girls felt a little small compared to the Brazilian Boys Town cheerleaders and et cetera that were always out there, so we made this squad a little bigger this year. Drill team. Again, thanks to the parents. They do the same thing. Once again at camp, the squad qualified for nationals. We opted out of the trip again this year because of financial purposes. These camps, these camps aren't, they're kind of like your 2-a-days for football or any other sport. They go for 4 days and they work from 8 o'clock in the morning until they can't see their instructors anymore at night. So they really put a lot of hard work in so they can be the best that they possibly can be for you. So to qualify for these parades and national trips, it's not just something that, okay, you came to this camp, you can come to our nationals. They really have to work hard at it and get their job done. The current members, if you would come up, please. We had 7 members on the squad this year. We have 2 seniors. These girls started off with me 3 years ago as sophomores, and they've stuck through the hard times and the good times. Got to go to Florida last year. Really wanted to go this year, but realized we just couldn't do it. And they were Sarah Schrader, who represented us as captain, and Holly Cerny. We had 1 new member to the squad, and that was sophomore Nikki Austin. We had Amy Helmers, who returned as a junior for us as co-captain. Jenny Hurt, Kathy Craig, and Amy Thompson are all of our juniors. And these girls practice every morning at 7 a.m. to get those routines down for you. And hopefully look as good as they can at half times. Thanks, ladies. The drill team has also enlarged. We were 7 members last year, and next year we will have 10. And that, it doesn't seem like a big enlargement, but it's funny how you look at a squad with 8 girls, and then you look at the squad with 10, and the squad with 10 look like they're about 20. So the 2 girls on the end just make it look so much better. Hopefully we can show you that through our games and halftime performances and such. Next year we'll have returning for us Amy Helmers as captain, Nikki Austin as co-captain, Amy Thompson, Jenny Hurt, and a new addition as a senior next year, Heidi Bergman. Rachel Bagley will be a transfer student for us from Fremont Junior High. Katie Henry has moved from cheerleading to dancing. Jamie Harusa, Heather Cerny, Tammy Kanasic, and we have an alternate this year who is very excited about it. She probably can't be here tonight. She's from Elkhorn. She drove all the way in for tryouts for a week to get here at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's Becky Janowski. She'll be a freshman for us as an alternate. One final thing that I would like to say, I know everybody is thank the Booster Club and this and that, but with athletics, it's expected that the Booster Club be there to support them. It's expected. But it's not expected of us. And I don't know where I would be without Joe Bocek, because our cheerleaders wouldn't have the vans, they wouldn't have the spirit, they wouldn't have the money to go to nationals, and without him and the Booster Club supporting us, we wouldn't be there to support the teams. And I guess we kind of take that for granted, but when I go to these camps and go to games and stuff and talk to other sponsors, they don't get it. They don't have the parents doing pat on the backs for them. They don't have the administration and the faculty saying, God, you guys are great. You know, they don't have the coaches saying, thanks for being there and cheering for us. So I'm very honored to be a part of the cheerleaders and drill team at Bergan, because you guys make us as good as we are, because we want to be here for you. So with that, I look forward to next year and having successful athletic seasons as well as great cheerleaders and dancers. Thanks.
Mr. Schmidt will come forward now and help me hand out these certificates. Every year we give out the Scholar Athlete Awards, and a lot of our athletes have the certificate for all conference academic awards, and they have to have a 95% or higher average. That's cum average. And a lot of them have already received them at our Fine Arts Banquet. And those members were Jeff Carlson, Monica Hall, Heidi Bergman, Kathy Craig, Karen Yossi, Paul Macklin, Sarah McWhirter. They will all receive their certificates already at the Fine Arts Banquet. And the ones that were not at the Fine Arts Banquet, we'll get them this evening, are Megan McGill. She'd come forward, please. Jennifer Brody, Jenny Hurt, TJ Mysick, Chris Paulson, and Bob Kaney. That was our academic all-conference awards. Now we present the awards that are given by the Booster Club for honoring our scholar athletes, and this was easy in the past. We just take just stay here, Mr. Smith. I'm going to go ahead and read off of here and then hand them to you. But it's the three-sport athlete that has the highest grade point average. And the criteria is in the book and everything, and then if they're tied so-and-so, they go to letters, and then they go to postseason awards. And this year's junior boys was extremely difficult because it went all through all three criteria and then came back to the thousandth of a point. So that one was the first time that's ever happened. So for a three-sport athlete with the highest grade point average, a freshman, girls it would be Megan McGill, and boys freshman Robert Hill. Sophomores, we have girls would be Kelly Muller, and boys would be Jeff Carlson. Juniors, girls would be Kathy Craig, and the boys would be TJ Mysick. And the gentleman that is on your tail, TJ, is Mr. Chris Paulson by thousandths of a point. So I just thought you'd want to know that. I believe it's Sergeant Shearer, if he'd come forward. Annually, the U.S. Army representative, you can wait right here, Mr. Schmidt, until we get to him. I'm sorry. I didn't give him the script, I guess. Sergeant Shear will present our senior awards, and we're very fortunate the Army does this. It's a very distinguished award here, as you'll see.
Thank you. For those of you that don't know me and looking across the crowd, it's pretty much everybody here. My name is Staff Sergeant Rick Shear. I'm an Army recruiter here in Fremont. And for about 10 years now, the United States Army's been sponsoring National Scholar Athlete Award. It's an award that goes to one senior female, one senior male from the graduating class. And in order to be eligible for it, the student must maintain at least a 3.25 grade point average and be, as he said, a three-sport athlete. This year's recipients are Sean Craig and Sarah Schrader.
Mr. Watkevich would, I've just got one more award here. The Sergeant Kimberly was supposed to come forward this evening, but he was unable to. We've got one award tonight. It's called the Distinguished Athlete Award, presented by the United States Marine Corps. And just some of the criteria that goes over in this award. It must be a high school student, grade 9 through 12. Must be an athlete in a school-sponsored varsity sport. Must be an exemplary young citizen and role model for young students. And must exhibit personal traits of courage, poise, self-confidence, and leadership while performing as varsity athlete. This award this year goes to Paul Macklin. Just a couple words about our young man, Paul. Paul participates in the sports, and a lot of times he kind of looks at me and he says, you know, I don't know if I should kind of do this or not. He says, I don't think I'm very good. In fact, the districts the other day, I said, congratulations, Paul, for doing so well. And he says, well, I don't know. He says, I didn't do real well. And so I kind of stopped and I turned around and I said, Paul, don't ever say that. Listen, now let's practice this again, and I want you to say thank you. And so I said, Paul, congratulations for doing so well. And he said, thank you. See, Paul, you don't have to get first to be a distinguished athlete and to be a youngster, to be a role model for other people. Your attitude and your work ethic, I know has a lot to do with your family background and how you were brought up. But that's the type of thing that we're talking about when winning is not everything. It's the effort that you put into it. It's getting up in the morning, liking what you see because you know you've given it your all, and you certainly have done that, Paul Macklin. And I want to thank you. Would Mr. Watkevich come forward at this time, and he will present the Jane Ortmeyer Memorial Scholarship.
It's always a really great honor for me to get to do this. Jane Ortmeyer graduated from Bergan in 1981. She's involved in a lot of different activities. She was in National Honor Society Changing Times drill team. She was on the volleyball team, I believe, for 3 years, basketball team for 2 or 3 years. She was on the rebounding top 10 chart for quite a while. She's a track runner. She's still holds the mile, the 2 mile, and 2 mile relay records. State qualifier all 4 years that she ran track. Besides that, just a really neat person, and just really, to me anyway, and to us that have been here for quite a while, and got a chance to know her, just really wonderful friend to a whole lot of people. Very dedicated, very caring, and I am honored, and it's a wonderful situation here to present this to Lisa Andrews.
Well, Lisa, I want you to know you and your parents will probably be contacted by Bernie and Jan. They are extremely dedicated, and they keep track of the people who win this award. And so I know they'll be contacting you. It's going to be a monetary scholarship. You know, I don't know how much it's grown to, but it will definitely help you travel to Nashville. So they'll be getting hold of you. Our next award is the Bill Tynan Award. It's voted on by the athletes at Bergan and the coaching staff, and this given in memory of Bill Tynan. Bill was coach here 1 year. 1966, the team went 10-0. He was a track coach and a football coach, and he just absolutely loved. I want our 1600 relay to listen to this. He absolutely loved the 1600 relay. And he said that was the way you finish out the meet and you make a statement right at the end. Well, the last couple of years we're starting to kind of make that statement, and even our girls are starting to come to that tradition and make that statement. So good that we're having a hell of a time finding people to play us in basketball and football, you know? That good. We have people willing to drive through this city and go someplace 3 times as far to play us, and they're actually bigger than that. And that's not good, because their programs will never build if they're going to go ahead and not play people. This year's award is going to go to a gentleman by the name of Jake Bogenreef. The Lou Weevil Scholarship, or not scholarship, that's a different Weevil Scholarship, but this is the Lou Weevil Fighting Knight of the Year Award. This goes to the best male athlete who the coaches feel that has strived to become the best athlete that he could be, physically and by example. And this year's winner is Mr. Sean Craig. Obviously, the same criteria for the ladies. Striving to become the best athlete that she could be while she was at Bergan, Miss Sarah Schrader. Now this year I wrote down a few remarks so I wouldn't get rambling on. Okay. All right. We got to thank a few people, and like some of these other coaches said, I don't want to forget anybody, and I probably will anyway. But I tried to write this down as good as I could. Father Frank's already left. We got to thank Father Frank for his support, because he certainly has made a big difference to us. The Booster Club, you know, a lot of people have thanked me, but my job for doing those things is extremely easy because of these folks here. These are our booster board right here. If they please stand, please. This booster board right here, right from Gene on up this way. Please stand. Give them a hand. They are a small portion of the Booster Club, but they are the ones that are willing to come and put up with this at these meetings all the time. But this year, you know, Ms. Jerome just mentioned about their support. Well, they are helping the cheerleaders and drill team with a one-time $100 stipend toward their cheerleader and drill team outfits. which doesn't happen in hardly any other school. And the reason they're doing that is because they figure an athlete goes through about 4 years, and it takes about $100 to put a uniform on the youngster for an athletic contest, and they last 4 years and they have to replace them. So this is what they're doing for the cheerleaders and drill team also. So they one time, if they're a cheerleader, one time while they're here, they get a $100 stipend. And I think they should be thanked for that. And also for taking on our fine arts program and really funding it. We're going to have, it's close to, Mr. Smith said it'll be a little less than 8,000 that we anticipated for the curtains we're trying to put up on the Bergan finally instead of a canvas. We're trying to put up a nice looking curtain up there with some side drops, for graduation and so on. And then we're putting on the same type of floor on the boys' locker room, which kind of comes up and has to be repainted all the time. This looks terrible, but it's the same flooring as the new girls' locker room. And so we're putting that in for about $8,000. We have donated $20,000 to be one of the few schools in the state to be directly hooked up to an internet that will not have to be hooked up by modem. In fact, somebody was saying that one teacher from a neighboring school hooked up to the internet at the ESU through the modem. I don't know if they knew what they were really doing or not, but the board or the administration got mad because they got a $190 phone bill. One time, hook up. One phone. One computer. We got how many in there? Mr. Barry, are you here? How many people? About 40. Multiply that times 40 if you want to hook up modem. Then a lot of busy signals. But we're going to be hooked up direct. And we can use all of ours at once, simultaneously, and with a one-time little charge. So that's what our Booster Club is helping us out with. So I want you to know that. We're just not athletics and everything else. In fact, in the last 2 to 3 years, we've given probably closer to 35 to 40,000 over the years with program software to our academics. So I want to thank the Booster Club for that, and I think you ought to give it. We got to thank all of our bingo workers and Rich Foxhoven, and Rick's dad. Is Rich here? Rich isn't here, but that's his dad, and him and his dad, or his dad and mom are in charge of this. John Blythe, I don't know if John's here. He's really a tremendous help to us. He's kind of taking things over a little bit and kind of helping Mr. Schmidt out a bundle. A lot of business establishments around town sell our pickles, and they're all advertised in our programs, and I wish you'd support them, including the Fremont Keno, because if it wouldn't be for the Fremont Keno pickles, ladies and gentlemen, our bingo, has dropped considerably because of the actual Keno playing. It's rebounding, but it hasn't rebounded as much as we would like. So it's a very good thing that we've got the Keno pickles, or we would have been in a world of hurt without that. And so if you see Jack Sutton around town, well, I kind of thank him for allowing us to have that. And also John at the Keno, thank him also. I won't say anything about some people in here that go down there and play and win $25,000 or anything, but that's okay. That's why they play, to win. You're not playing to lose, right? Thanks to all the helpers at our athletic events. We've gone through that. John's been mentioned a million times. We pointed at, we had people stand, but we had a couple, Jerry and Joe down there. Jake and Malberg, well, they're a member. I don't know if Bob Vance is here. But those guys, it's over 30 years now, maybe closer to 35 years of keeping the stats for football. And I don't think anybody in the room doesn't know for football games. Those guys haven't kept the stats for them. We're really appreciative of that. Scorekeepers, whatever. Midland is very, very good to us. We really thank them for their cooperation. KHUB and Fremont Tribune, great coverage. Booster Club again joined the Sportscasters Club this year. And I don't know if you've heard our ads on the radio and everything, but they did a really great job, and it was a very good investment for us. I want to thank our Superintendent, Gary Schmidt, for everything he does, the Board of Education for their long hours of work. Without them and their support, we could not go. Thank the coaches for the endless hours of dedication And thank you, parents, for supporting them, because the two of you have got to work together. And if the athletes know that you're working together, it's no different than the classroom. If they know you're working together, we're going to continue to have the excellence, both academically and extracurricular-wise, that we have for years. Thanks to the athletes for their sacrifice and dedication and commitment, because without that, the Bergan teams would not be able to carry on the fighting night tradition. Special thanks to Mrs. Kaiser and the pep band for playing our games. Her husband had, I guess, won some sort of a trip or something, and she couldn't be here tonight, so she's kind of taken off. They're going on a couple-day trip. So I think she's not here, but I think we should give her a hand because she's done good work. Thanks to Miss Jerome and the cheerleaders and drill team. When Miss Jerome came in, our cheerleaders and drill team were this close to disbanding. They really were. There was not that much interest. They were embarrassed to go out there and do cheers. She came in, she brought the pride right back into them, and are out there in front and leading us, and she's right. The parents are right in there yelling with us, and then the kids then come also. They say, well, they think it's okay, it must be okay. And they join right in. So we want to thank Miss Jerome for all of her sacrifice that she does. Finally, I want to say thank to Mr. Ox. It's success stories. I got to write this down or I'll get emotional. I got to read it. It's success stories like yours that make all this worthwhile to us here at St. Patrick's Parish in Bergan. Thanks for always giving your all in whatever you chose to do. So Brad, you are a joy to coach. And I sincerely mean that. Most of all, thanks for not forgetting where you came from. That means a lot to all of us here at Bergan. And we also want to wish you and Michelle the best in your upcoming wedding in July. And, you know, I told you earlier when we were eating that behind every successful man is an awfully important lady right there by your side. And our coaches tonight have kind of echoed that you cannot go through anything without the support of just a wonderful person beside you. And we want to wish you God's blessings all the way through, and thanks for being here. And now, I've waited all this time. I've got I almost gave this away, but Greg Schmidt down at the trophy case did a wonderful job here, I think. It says Rams select Otis in the NFL draft. This is the only picture that Michelle could find. It's about a sophomore picture at Wayne State, but that's kind of the way we'll remember you at Bergan anyway. This is the article that Mr. Burke Brown wrote in Tribune that we had to retype in this form so it would fit on this plaque, but it's word for word. And if you haven't read that, you couldn't write it better yourself. It was just priceless. And this is the actual World Herald article. This is all sublimated onto these plaques, and it's the actual first two rounds of the draft, which you highlighted right here as the 56th pick. Congratulations to Brad Otis, 1990 Archbishop Bergan graduate, NCAA Division II All-American, NFL second-round draft choice, Los Angeles Rams, April 24th, 1994. Presented by the Bergan Booster Club, May 16th, 1994, and we have one just like this, so you can give it to your dad. Thank you. Identical, and says presented to Richard Otis in recognition of your son Brad, and then reads the same. So, we are very pleased. Thank you all for coming. I hope you really enjoyed the evening, and Nick